Calling to order the Municipality of Monroeville's Citizens Night and regular council meeting for September 8th, 2020. It is approximately 7:10 p.m. Could I have a roll call, please?
Mayor Griesau,
Here.
Mrs. Gatos,
Here.
Mr. Poach,
Here.
Mr. Harvey,
Here.
Mr. Wolfram, Mr. Arasenko,
Here.
Mr. Williams,
Here.
Mr. Wilson,
Here.
Mr. Little,
Here.
Mr. Ratcher,
Here.
Mr. Hugus,
Here.
Mr. Weldon.
Here.
We're going to begin this meeting. I'm happy to see everybody here in person. We've had to have several months of online Zoom meetings due to the COVID pandemic, but we're finally back here in person, which I'm very happy to be, and I'm sure council is as well. Unfortunately, I have to start the meeting on a somber note that we lost our very first mayor, Mayor Michael Lynch, Monroeville's first mayor, first elected in 1977, served 3 terms. He was involved very deeply in our community, in the beginnings of our community. His contributions were endless, and his service to our community will not be forgotten. He passed away on Wednesday, August 26th, and Michael was 81 years old. I never met Mayor Lynch. However, I certainly have heard very fond things of him from members of the community. So with that, council, I'm going to ask, and I'm going to ask everyone here in the audience as well, we're going to be saying the Pledge of Allegiance here in a moment, and then afterwards we will have a moment of silence in honor of Mayor Lynch. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. We have 2 presentations this evening. First, we have the Monroeville Rotary Club and their Peace Garden. So there's representatives here. I believe the president of Rotary is here. If you could join us at the microphone. If you could just say your name for the record, please.
Som Sharma, President of the Monroeville Rotary Club. And Mr. Mayor, before I start my presentation, since you mentioned Mike Lynch, he was a dear friend of mine. So I also want to offer, and not only that, but he was a great member of the Monroeville Rotary Club, a very prominent, very active member of the Rotary Club. And of course, as everybody knows, a very active mayor and very liked mayor and active in the society, in the community rather. So I would like to extend my own and condolences on behalf of myself and the Rotary Club for losing such a great friend and a great citizen. During his time, there was a very interesting battle that the community fought, which was the Hindu temple of Monroeville. He was supportive personally, but the council had turned down that offer to build a Hindu temple. Finally, we took the council to court and won it. So that was his contribution and his forward-looking approach to life. That's the reason I bring it here, because from that time now we have come, that we are such a loving, diverse community, and that is where this presentation is all about. So Honorable Mayor and Mayor Nick Griesau and council members, I stood before this council a few years ago in my capacity as Human Relations Commissioner of Monroeville. Today, I thank you for this opportunity to stand before you as the President of the Rotary Club of Monroeville to speak about a fantastic project to promote peace and harmony in our wonderful, diverse community. Rotary International has peace building as one of the top priority goals. Rotary was among the foremost NGOs, non-governmental organizations, alongside a large number of country governments to form the United Nations. That is how far back Rotary's role of peace goes. Within the Rotary framework, our club has earned the designation of a Peace Builder Club to undertake many peace initiatives. Rotary Club of Monroeville, of which Mr. Little, our municipal manager, is the immediate past president, will build and gift to the community a peace garden with a peace pole in the middle at a cost of around $12,000. The project will be funded by club's own resources and a grant from the Rotary District 7305. This will be a beautiful garden and peace pole situated in the community park or maybe some other location within Monroeville. More importantly, it will serve as an inviting symbol of communal harmony, periodically bringing together various nationalities and ethnic groups of our town and adjacent neighborhoods. The Rotary Club will organize programs and events to bring people together, to have fun, to enjoy, to celebrate and prosper. A special event will be created and celebrated of United Nations International Day of Peace on September 21st each year. Rotary Club, the most respected service and civic organization in town, requests Mayor Grisock and all council members as community leaders to bless this project and join us in building the peace garden and peace pole, which will make our community proud. I now request our project chair, Dustin Helm, to share some essential information. Dustin?
And I will keep it quick. Thank you so much. As we go through, as Sam mentioned about the pole, there are different types of material we've been doing research on. And this pole, while you can look at one of the fundamentals, which is a wood peace pole, we're not trying to have something that's established for the next 1 to 3 years and have it be destroyed. So we've gone and done research where we have both granite peace poles as well as stainless steel peace poles with 400 years of life. We found that these particular projects, ranging in what he had mentioned between $9,500 and $12,500, we'll be able to find a unique piece that will be designated for Monroeville, for the community of Monroeville, and something that everyone can go and see at any time of the day. As we finish, we talked about the multiple languages. Please allow the Monroeville Rotary Club the opportunity to extend the message of peace by planting this peace pole in the Monroeville Community West Park, for example, for all visitors to view. Certain words can carry vibrations strong enough to inspire, heal, and transform the human heart. And we believe that the phrase, such as "may peace prevail on earth," would fulfill that goal perfectly. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you, Dustin. Thank you, Sam. Council, any questions?
When is the decision going to be made on the product that you're going to use of the pole, if it's granted for you to do this?
Dustin, yeah, please, just so we can all hear you.
Perfect. The decision we've gone through, I have the paperwork prepared for our particular board to be able to go through both on the granite as well as on the steel. As soon as we get the blessing, we're ready to go. We already have contacted, I've researched all the builders. We've selected a place out in Cincinnati, Ohio, with an extremely large track record around all different states, and it will actually be made and delivered right into the park.
What is the size of this pole?
We have done the research looking at the granite. If, for instance, 12 feet is the goal that I have set out in looking at something that is seeable but not unusable. I think if you put a 25-foot pole out there, it's going to be very difficult for people to walk up to and see. The 12-foot, when you go out with a granite, it takes the cement into the ground, will knock that 12-foot pole that we purchased down to 9 feet visible above ground. Stainless steel, you're going to go a ½ inch into the ground. We would have 11.5 feet on that stainless steel, both with over 400 years of life on that particular piece.
Answer me this, if you were to put a granite pole up, how do you support that inside, keep somebody from busting it off?
They've told us, at least the research that he's used in past examples, the 3 feet in the ground of the hard cement that is dug up and built, every example they've provided us has never been touched, dent, or bruised in a way that you have to go back and rebuild.
what is it, a foot,
The,
square?
we have looked at, they have sides that range between 4, 5, 6, and 7 sides. We are looking at the 7-sided. The granite would be 3.5 inches on each of those sides. The stainless steel is 4 inches visible on each of those 7 sides. The problem, I say problem, the issue that comes up with the monetary amount, while it may look a little less for us to do the granite, we will have to have the expenses for the digging and for the cement that goes into the bottom. There is not as much of that needed with the stainless steel, so that's one of the reasons we were leaning towards that. But in both cases, knowing that we can have the surrounding area, such as what I was looking at or recommending from the Community Park West, there was a section there that already has a place implemented with various trees, various spots of cement that are around. I think we could develop that even more where you have a large crowd already obtained for 6 months out of the year.
I have one more question.
Sure.
You had made a suggestion that it possibly would not be going in that park.
We want to leave it open, obviously. I think some of the board members have talked about and said, what if we could get it on to 22, and talk to various areas. Again, we're leaving this open. These are discussions, so I hope I'm not saying to you it can't go there. But looking at the community park, I just felt if we were having this first particular area for peace and finding a way that could be safe and secure, and there are many areas in that community park that we know are used
Yes.
very often, for some reason, and again, maybe this is personal, but I felt the safety that would be installed in there would be from day one and not be something that we are worried about. So that
The
was.
reason I asked is because I'm hoping that you're not going to change your mind on that.
Sure, absolutely. I think, and again, I know Sam had left it open. I'm not the president, but I am
Yeah.
looking at and putting the presentation down that the Community Park West is where the first,
Yeah, I think
recommendation goes.
as it is the community park, I thought it was a really good choice.
Great, thank you for
And a
that.
good time
I love it.
of
Especially
what's
that
happening
there's.
in the world right now, so.
Especially that there's an area, thank you for bringing that up, I didn't
Yes.
want to go too long, but that is the part of it that, I am so proud of the board and what they had gotten to talk about and bringing this idea up. I was just happy to jump on the committee and be able to take the
Yes.
next steps and do the research.
Well, I say thank you.
No, this is, and especially with an area that is set up where it is very easily installed,
Yeah.
I would not need to take down 50-foot trees and ask, please, can I put it here?
Right.
There are some spots that would be very well decorated and be seen, I promise you, with television networks very quickly, as far as seeing.
Mr. Weldon, have you looked where they are talking about putting this?
Not really. I know I had seen some preliminary stuff a while back.
Paul, we need a microphone on you, sorry.
Across from Parks 1 and 3 on that road, there's a particular part of the garden where there is a circle and it has one of your small trees in, and I was looking at that as one of the possible first spots on that particular
By the
side.
gazebo.
Yeah.
And there's like
To the
somewhat
right of the gazebo, exactly.
there's like somewhat of a
Exactly.
maze there.
Yes, and in that center, if that was the center, and we could see the peace signs, which, by the way, I know I was trying to keep it under time. We are looking at somewhere between, as far as he can go up to 95 languages on this peace poll. We are looking at somewhere between 4 and 14 languages. We have a very diverse community, and I think if you can show that we went out and not only voted on this, not only installed this, not only have 400 years, but have people from all over seeing it, I think the attention's going to be
And well representative
very
of our
well,
town.
very well
Thank you.
representative.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it'll be pretty low impact. I mean, it's essentially just, like a small utility pole. It
Right.
doesn't have a very large footprint. So, implementing it somewhere in the park should be fairly simple.
Yeah. Thank you.
Great. Any other questions? Appreciate your time, everyone.
Mayor,
May I add something to your answer, to your question?
Yes,
Sure.
Mr. Sharma, come on up.
Thank you. There's a whole lot of detail. Today there are about 300,000 peace poles in the world. And they serve the same purpose as we are talking about here, to bring community together and not only just stand as a structure, but because of that symbol, create programs so people come together. That is the whole intent. I suppose all of you do have a copy of the picture that
Yes, sir.
we have. Okay, so that gives you a very small idea. The reason we are leaning towards choosing a 7-sided pole is because there are 7 continents in the world.
Oh.
So there's a whole lot of thought behind it, And as Dustin just said, these are just our initial proposal. We'll be working with the council, we'll be working with the building department, we'll be working with the manager, and then work out the detail. The question, sir, that you asked about whether there's a structurally, is it going to hold or not? Our research has shown it will hold, but for local conditions, we'll work with the municipal authorities and other experts if we have to. If we have to hire a local architect, we will. The idea is to build a peace garden and a peace pole that will be there for the community for a long, long time. Can I answer any other questions?
No, that was fantastic.
Thank you very much.
Very good.
Mayor.
Yes, go ahead.
I wanted to make a motion to support this project in the way that council giving its authorization for the Rotary to work with the manager and come up with the best location and way
I will second
to
that.
complete this project.
I agree.
A motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Excellent. So
Thank
good luck with the
you, guys.
project,
Thank
and we
you.
look forward to
Appreciate it, thank you.
hearing more about it.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
Great. Thank you.
Would it be okay to come back once we're finished?
Oh, please,
Oh, absolutely.
At least have
please,
a picture of the
Oh,
absolutely.
most certainly.
Sorry
Yes,
to interrupt.
Good job.
Thank you for coming out.
thank you.
And our next presentation this evening is...
Tom, thank you very much for bringing this to us. I think it's going to be a great addition to our community.
You all leaders have inspired us from time to time, so thank you also.
Thank you for the Rotary, too. They do so much for us. Thank you.
Very good. Our next presentation is by Jared Robinson, our TV 15 director. I'm going to talk about the revised programming. Jared's, oh, he's actually
Oh,
here.
there he is.
Usually in the basement, but he
I was gonna
appeared.
say, boy, he's like the,
Got here
he's up here
fast.
like the
Stage
Flash.
So, Mr. Robinson, welcome. So if you want to go on with your presentation.
Certainly will. I feel like a rock star or something coming through the
Yeah,
doors like
yeah,
that. Everyone waiting on my arrival. But thank you for the opportunity to speak today. For a number of years, I sat back in that corner over there on the camera, so it's nice to be able to speak to you all in this capacity today. Some of you may be aware that I just recently took over for the guy affectionately known as TV Joe. So now I occupy the basement downstairs. And Joe's been good to me during this transition. And, you know, he certainly did not leave the TV 15 cupboard bare. But one of the things that I wanted to do upon taking over was just sort of bolster our programming lineup and our TV schedule and the programs and the content that we offer. So it's one of the things that I wanted to do, and I sought some viable resources, and lots of things have moved to a digital format these days. So I sought a number of resources and was able to obtain a slew of programming, content, and the like. So there's something for everyone. We launched this August 3rd, and so we've been running it for about a month now. We've gotten some good feedback on a lot of the programs we have, so I just wanted to basically alert you and have the opportunity to alert our citizens that we have this going on. And I mean, there's something for everyone. There's something for kids, seniors, teens and young adults. I mean, we got a lot of nice things. If you want to learn some new recipes, we have programming for you. You want to get a little sweat going, you know, some cardio, we've got that for you too. So lots of things. I think there was a handout that went out actually. This is just a sample of, you know, the different genres and things of programs that we have. So you see talk, fitness, science, and tech, like I mentioned. One of the things that I like is the tech throwback, where the guy's talking about old technology when it was new. So if anybody had an A-track, which I might suspect a few of you might have had an A-track back in the day.
What's he saying?
You just read Mr. Arsinka's whole music library.
Yeah, so he does a good job with that. So I wouldn't be from the, you know, representing the TV department if I didn't have a little video. So
Nice.
we got a little 42-second video to sort of give you a visual summation of what I've been saying. So JB, go ahead and run that video, please.
Turn it up, JB.
There There you go.
NASA is in the process of testing new designs.
Hey folks, I'm Steve Butler. So come see what's going on in the garage. Today we're going to do a whole episode dedicated to this little box.
We both have sweet tooth, so we decided we were going to make things that were sweet.
All right.
All right, good job.
Wow. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. Just some statistics here to finish up. It's also on that insert as well of what we were able to acquire. We've gotten 891 shows, so I categorize a show as anything 20 minutes or longer. And then promos is sort of like shorter segments that we use to run as like filler in between shows, so anything from 60 seconds to maybe 3.5 minutes or so. Like I said, covering the full gamut of genres that I have mentioned. 435 plus hours of video content. And I think you'll like that last part there, all royalty free. So the way I was able to accomplish that was stations across the country who are similar to ours, who, you know, similar staffing, similar budgetary things, are generous and provide their programming for anybody to pick off, who, like I said, who are similar to our station. So I was able to acquire that, and like I said, we've been running that since August 3rd. So anybody out there who's looking for some alternate programming, come on and check us out.
Jared, the guide is on our website?
Yes, the guide is on our website, monroeville.pa.us, and it is also on our newly formed Facebook page. That's Monroeville TV Department.
Very good.
Excellent. Great job, Jared.
Thank you very
We'll
much.
give you some time to get downstairs. Or?
Yeah, can I
our
get
technology
like 90
into
seconds or so?
20s.
Thank you, Jared.
All right.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much,
great job.
Jared.
Thank you very much.
Very
Thanks,
nice.
Jared.
Thank you.
Council, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move over to our Citizens Night portion of the meeting. This is a moment for any resident to address council on any municipal matter. We ask that you sign in, state your name for the record. You have to be a Monroeville resident or taxpayer to speak. We always ask that you keep it to a 5-minute time limit just to kind of keep the meeting going efficiently. And so if there's anyone that is signed in, now would be your time.
Hello, I'm Nicole Henline. I'm a resident and the director of the Monroeville Public Library. I would also like to thank Jared for his wonderful work. He did a few videos for us as we were reopening to let people know what to expect, and he did a wonderful job. And we look forward to continuing to work with him. I just wanted to take 2 minutes of your time to thank you for your continued support and remind you that September is Love Your Library Month in Allegheny County. Thanks to the generosity of the Jack Bunter Foundation, any donations received by the Monroeville Public Library Fund in the month of September will be part of a prorated match. And the pool grew this year for the first time since it started 5 years ago, from $150,000 to $200,000. So some of the things we normally do, such as our year-round book sale and the Friends Trivia Night, are not possible due to COVID. We still, however, have many ways people can continue to make their donations go further. Our annual appeal has gone out this month to make the most of this match. Postcards went to prior donors, and we're pushing out the message on email and social media. We have a new virtual store that will allow us to sell raffle tickets to several items that have been donated, including a Yeti Cooler camping package, a Pittsburgh Zoo and Aquarium Family Plus membership, a food, shoes, and books gift card bundle, a fall mesh wreath, and a Halloween mesh wreath. And if you like wreaths, they're gorgeous. I've seen them. You also, on that virtual store, which will be on our website by tomorrow, you can buy t-shirts and bags from the Monroeville Public Library. Other ways to donate: online on our website, monroevillelibrary.org, in person at the library, check our website for hours, and donation envelopes are available in our contactless pickup area, which is open Monday, Wednesday, Friday 10 to 4, and Tuesday, Thursday 10 to 7. We know this is a difficult time for everyone, and not everyone has the capacity to donate right now. But we invite everyone to show that they love their library in a multitude of ways. Sharing a story, your library story online or by email. What does the library mean to you? Why is it important to you? And if you have pictures, please include them because they make everything more fun. And share our annual appeal on social media or through the email, or pick up a yard sign from the contactless pickup area. So there are lots of ways to show you love your library, even if you are not in a position to give right now. But anyone who is in a position to give, we please ask you to do it in September so that it's part of that wonderful match from the Buncher Foundation. What Eric is handing out, part of our, in addition to the $200,000 match pool, they give PR money every year and the county decides how that is spent. And this year they decided to give t-shirts, which the staff already have. So we decided to give them to the board, council, and our friends of the library. And I guess they had extra money, so they also gave Love Your Library masks.
They had extra money.
From the grant. Unfortunately, we don't have extra money.
That's why I chuckled.
But they did.
Yeah, Damon, can I get a shot on that?
Any food in there? Could be.
There we go. That's better.
So, and we do have, those are not the ones being sold, but the ones being sold are very nice as well. So,
Thank you, sir.
please.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you.
Excel too.
You told me.
Excel.
That's all your muscles.
That's right, that's right, we told you, that's right. I like to, have them
Yeah.
large.
I'm David English. I'm the Ward 4 representative and the current president of the Board of Directors of the Monroeville Public Library.
Welcome.
And thank you. And on behalf of our immediate past president, Debbie, who's here tonight, and my fellow board member, Mandel, I want to thank all of you for your continuing support for the library, which you've given for many years in the past, and I know will continue to give in the future. Every great community has a great library. And we in Monroeville are blessed with a great library. I think we'd all agree with that. But libraries aren't what you and I remember when we were young. It's not an old building with that musty smell coming from among the stacks, with someone policing us with glasses on the bridge of their nose, telling us to be quiet when we're speaking a little bit too loudly. Today, they're bustling community centers, and ours is no different. Not only do we have the books, music, movies, periodicals, and all the materials that we think about in a typical library, we also have all of the community interaction. It's a hub. In our library, if you think about it, it's a center for innovation, education, and interaction between all of our residents. Before March, when the pandemic hit, on any given day, if you walked into the library, you'd see parents and mom or dad together in a Parent and Me program led by a staff member. You might see a group of teenagers discussing issues that are typical adolescent issues with a staff member moderating that conversation. Job seekers accessing information online and requesting assistance with resume preparation. Older adults in a conversation about a topic of current interest. And families using our new Maker Lab to create new keepsakes. All of this in addition to what we all think of as the typical library process, readers of all ages checking out and checking back in books. All of this happens because of an extraordinary director and an outstanding team of librarians, supervisors, and clerks. That group and the residents of Monroeville, our patrons, is what makes our library great. Your constituents, who are our patrons, have been extremely pleased to have the library back in operation since that temporary closure due to COVID-19. Not only have they been telling us how happy they are to have the ability to pick up materials through our contactless pickup and to make appointments to come in and browse or use the computers, they also let us know how much they appreciate being able to talk to the staff and ask for information and request support. They're also taking advantage of many of our virtual programs, such as Funny Fridays or language conversation groups or retirement planning, among many others. The online programs have proven to be very popular during this particular time, as you can imagine. So our library is striving to meet the needs of the community under these unique circumstances. But frankly, the full-time staff members are pretty much exhausting themselves trying to meet those requests. So patrons are acknowledging their sacrifice and thanking them for all of those efforts. Even with reduced hours, keeping up with the demand is a stout load for 11 people. When our part-time staff members return, we'll be able to increase hours, respond to even more requests, and add new programs. As Nicole mentioned, we ask for everyone's support during Love Your Library Month. We know that you've been there for us, the community as a whole has been there for us, and as you mentioned, while we certainly were looking for financial contributions, we thank everyone for all of their support. As the most trusted man in America, Walter Cronkite, once said, "Whatever the cost of our libraries, the price is cheap compared to that of an ignorant nation." And I would humbly add, that price is cheap compared to a great community becoming less than what its citizens desire and deserve. So thank you all very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dave.
Welcome.
Never want to get used to these. Debbie Izak, and I am here as resident and former past president of the library board. I'd like to take about 2 minutes of my 5-minute time and split it to pretty much echo thanks to all of Monroeville Council, Monroeville as a community. I think as a community we have banded together during this pandemic and have really supported each other and one another in really difficult, trying times. And I think we should all feel very proud of what, as a municipality and the services that we offer, what we have been able to accomplish. I am so incredibly proud of Nicole Henline and what she has done to inspire her staff to meet really the challenges. I just want to share a real quick story with you, if you haven't perhaps heard it. Early on, during the early part of the shutdown, did you know that several of the staff members from the library took time to pick up the phone and call regular library users to check in on them to see how they were doing? When people were feeling incredibly isolated, the Monroeville Library staff really was going above and beyond what would be normally thought of their job responsibility to really reach the people in our community and say, we care, are you okay? And this is who we are as a library and what we do. And that makes me incredibly proud to be associated with this group. I know that since then, they have gotten incredibly creative in making sure that our community has what resources that can be provided to them with the contactless pickup, with scheduling of appointments, of making time to be able to use the computers. I know the community is hungry. They're really starving, really, to get back to the library and to be able to use the great programming that we are known for. So we all look forward to that, and I thank you for that support. And I thank Nicole and Dave and the rest of the board and really, truly, the staff. I'd like to just switch hats for 2 seconds, and I know that this is on the agenda, and Municipal Little is going to this will be part of his report, but I did want to that you know that I'm also here representing Chabad of Monroeville tonight, and we are going to be on this Sunday up here at the municipal parking lot. Rabbi Shapiro from the Chabad of Monroeville was a recipient of 1,000 face masks. These are high-quality antimicrobial masks, and they are packaged in 5s, and we are giving them away free. We're partnering with the Monroeville Foundation, with the Monroeville Area Chamber of Commerce, and Visit Monroeville, and we'll be up here at the municipal parking lot from 11 to 1. And anyone can drive through. You don't have to get out of your car, and we'll be handing out these great face masks. So they're washable, they're reusable, and I would hope that we would give out every single one of those 1,000 packages to our community. So I thank you for your time. As I've been saying, stay safe, stay healthy, and please be patient with one another.
Excellent.
Thank you, Debbie.
Thank you, Debbie.
Thanks, Deb.
No, we do. We all have, yes, thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to address council on any municipal matter? Seeing none, we're going to close that part of the meeting. We're going to move over to our regular council meeting for tonight, September 8th. I will offer another opportunity for if there's anyone that would like to comment on any of the agenda items this evening. Seeing none, we're moving on. I have an executive session announcement. The council conducted an executive session before tonight's council meeting on Tuesday, September 8th, from 6:15 to 7 p.m. for personnel and litigation reasons. Council legislative action, if any, shall be taken at tonight's council meeting. Council, looking at our minutes, I'm looking for an approval of the minutes of the Citizens Night meeting of August 11th, 2020, the council work session, the regular council meeting of August 11th, 2020 as well. Is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments or additions, corrections, council? Seeing none, we have a motion and a second to approve. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Gatos?
Aye.
Mr. Poach?
Aye.
Mr. Harvey?
Aye.
Mr. Arsenko?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. Wilson?
We got them both. The ayes have it.
Double barrel.
Tax collections, the reports. Council, is there a motion to approve those?
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Any comments or questions, council? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Arsenko?
Aye.
Mr. Harvey?
Aye.
Mr. Poach?
Aye.
Mrs. Gatos?
Aye.
The ayes have it. List of bills and budget transfers. Is there a motion to approve?
So move.
There is a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second to approve. Any comments or questions?
Yes, sir,
Council.
Mayor.
Mr. Harvey.
Just one. And I talked to Tim about it earlier, and I don't know if anybody else caught it. But, Tim, maybe explain that AccuFund,
Yeah,
$11,672.
sure. Council received in July a worksheet that Josie Rock, our finance director, put together with respect to changing accounting software companies. And we had our current one, which is Munis, which we've had for maybe 18 years, and entertaining AccuFund and another company called BS&A. And council doesn't have this in front of them now. I have copies if they want, but I'm sure this went over with Josie Rock and also a representative from AccuFund, Elisa Kearney. And the initial cost for 2020 for AccuFund was going to be $42,000, and that's part of what you see, which is on the list of bills. But the bottom line, over a 3-year period, which Ron and I were talking on the phone today, this year alone we'll probably save about $80,000, and over a 3-year savings because of the licensing and the support that Munis is it's used by a lot of municipalities and cities across the country, but we feel AccuFund is more suited for the size of our municipality. Munis is more regulated for real larger cities and in large counties and in cities that are 100, 125, 150,000 people. And we're paying for something I think we don't need, and I think this is going to be more efficient with respect to actually accounting and in cost. So we're saving approximately $260,000 over a 3-year period, but this is the initial outlay this year, and it'll cost. Initially, it's going to cost a little bit more because obviously there's going to be training, and there is obviously their implementation of coming into the office and putting that all on to our hardware. So that's what this initial cost is currently. Okay?
Understood?
All right.
Any other questions, Mr.
Nope,
Harvey?
I'm good.
I have a question on the list of bills.
Mr. Williams, go ahead.
August 2019 to August 2020, go from $500,000 to $1.5 million.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you well.
2019 to 2020, list of bills for August went from $500,000 to $1.5 million.
Yeah, that was because we had the paving this year. What else? Yeah, the paving, the roof. The roof hasn't been totally paid. It's been about 2/3 paid. And the AC, the library, which I had a couple questions today, the library AC unit went in, that was talked about right after the holidays last year, and that was the first AC unit that's being put in. We need more up on this roof, but we're holding up on everything until we see where our revenues go as every month moves along here. We need units up there, but that was the first one. It's going to be it's on the ground instead of being on the roof.
But
So
Mr.
the
Little,
roof,
that was approved. That was already in the previous budget.
approved.
That's the one question I had
So
asked too.
so the paving for $817,000, the roof, which actually, $108,000, although we had another payment since then, and, which will show up next month, and then the library AC, which was $78,000.
That happens every year when we pay the paving bill.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I just think the public needed to know the reason.
Sure.
I mean, that's a big jump. And,
yeah. And
thank
then
you
in
for that
October, you'll
explanation.
see a big, well, it'll be the same. You know, we usually pay out on the debt service in October and also the pensions. But that'll be the same as last year, though. This year was different because we didn't have those expenses from last year.
Thank you.
Anything else, Mr. Williams?
Nothing.
Council, any other questions about the list of bills or the budget transfers?
Nope.
Seeing none, there is a motion and a second to approve. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Gatos?
Aye.
Mr. Poach? Mr. Harvey?
Aye.
Mr. Arasinko?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
The ayes have it. And our payroll report. Council, is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second?
Motion and second to approve. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Arasinko?
Aye.
Mr. Harvey?
Aye.
Mr. Poach?
Aye.
Mrs. Gatos?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Council, we're moving over to our vacancies on boards, commissions, and authorities. If you look in your packet, it's in the blue section. Mrs. Gatos, do you have anything this evening?
Yes, I'm going to go ahead and nominate. I haven't been able to get anyone from Ward 1 to put their name in for the Planning Commission, but the woman from Ward 4 has been up here for a couple months, and so I'm going to go ahead and make a nomination for Paula Montgomery,
I'll second.
Planning Commission.
I'll second.
That's a nomination.
Yes.
We have a motion and a second to nominate Paula Montgomery. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? The ayes have it. Mrs. Gatos, anything else?
That would be it. Thank you.
Mr. Poach?
Nothing at this time, sir.
Mr. Harvey?
Nothing.
Mr. Arasinko?
Sorry to say, nothing.
Mr. Williams?
Nothing.
Mr. Wilson?
No, thanks.
And moving over to our consent agenda. New business, we have 3 items. First one is 20-2-STJ Martin Excavating Incorporated. Mr. Little, please.
Yeah, this applicant is requesting a site plan approval to construct 7,720 square foot building to be used as a business and warehouse on property in a zoned M1 planned industrial. The property is a vacant lot located within Moya Industrial Park on Old Frankstown Road and known as tax parcel 741-D-36. Planning Commission recommends approval.
So moved to approve.
Second.
Motion is second to approve. Any comments?
I have one question. Is this what we discussed down at the authority, Mr.
It is,
Hunter?
yes.
And can we still go ahead with this if we haven't gotten an answer?
Yes, yeah, they're gonna get water one way or the other.
Okay.
So it's just a matter of whether they get it directly from Plum
Or
or
from-
Monroeville gets it from Plum and supplies it
Supplies
to
it.
them. And I'm actually in the process of drafting that agreement.
Okay,
So,
all right. I thought that's what it was.
Because they'll need water.
correct.
Yes, it was just a matter of how it's certain.
They'll get it. They need it.
Just a little bit.
It came up at the municipal meeting as to how it was going to happen, and Mr. Hunter actually had reached out to them to figure that out, and since we haven't had another meeting since, I didn't hear what had happened. And the applicant, I guess, isn't here.
We're good.
Everything,
I'm the engineer of record.
Oh.
okay.
Is there anything you'd like to add to that, or,
No,
sir? All sounds good? For the record, he said no. But, yeah, so ultimately they.
You're okay?
Mr. Wielden, anything?
All good.
All good?
Mr. Wielden says that it's all good as well.
Okay.
We're staying socially distant, so we don't have microphones in the back of the room, but at any rate, so there's a motion, a second to approve, and I'm assuming with this water issue, they wouldn't be granted their occupancy until they had water, so this is something it's going to happen.
It's gonna be resolved within the next 30 days,
Very
if
good.
not sooner.
So motion, second to approve.
I'm sorry, wasn't clear about who made the motion. Okay, I'm sorry.
We're good?
Yep.
So a roll call, please.
Mrs. Gatos?
Aye.
Mr. Poach?
Aye.
Mr. Harvey?
Aye.
Mr. Arasinko?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
aye.
Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Our second item, 20-2-C, and it's the same applicant, J. Martin Excavating Incorporated. Mr. Little.
Yeah, applicant is requesting a conditional use approval pursuant to section 401.8 of the Monroeville zoning ordinance number 1443 as amended to permit a cut and fill operation totaling 14,000 cubic yards of earth. The property is a vacant lot located within the Moya Industrial Park on Old Frankstown Road and is known as parcel 741D36 in the M1 Planned Industrial Zoning District. And this has to be done under a public hearing. So if there is anybody that wishes to speak, will have to be sworn in. If anybody wishes to,
I have to call it to order.
Is there anyone that would like to speak either for this matter in any way? Is there anyone from the audience? Seeing none.
Do we have a plan that's been submitted? We need to have some,
open it?
we need to have some testimony on that plan for the record,
Yeah.
Because it's a public hearing item.
Yeah, do we have to open it to be a public
Yeah,
hearing?
yeah, I think we're not there yet.
Yeah,
We're-
okay.
We're getting there. I'm getting there.
We're getting there, okay.
Plans have been submitted through plan,
Wait,
Go ahead.
We swear Mr. Wielden in?
Open the public hearing, we'll swear Mr. Weldon in.
should we not also swear him in just in case?
Yes.
Sir?
Yeah.
Yes,
Just in case?
Because invariably, they'll ask you a question, and then we'll,
And then we'll have to do this all again.
no problem.
thank you. So gentlemen, please, if you raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
yes.
Yes.
Great. So we'll call to order this public hearing. Mr. Wielden, please proceed.
Plans have been submitted, planning commission reviewed them, staff reviewed them, there's numerous comments, everything has basically been addressed. We're waiting for a planning module, and like you mentioned, water. As far as the conditional use for earthwork, we don't foresee that as being a problem. That's more of just like a boilerplate thing that happens once you hit 10,000 cubic yards of excavation. This happens frequently with larger projects, no real issues,
No concerns from your department?
no.
So
The
they'll
dirt,
be
the
back.
dirt's staying on the site?
Yes.
It balances on site.
Okay.
Okay. Council, any questions?
They'll be back then again with a building plan.
Can I ask what's gonna be
Wait,
used or housed in the warehouse?
Ron, hold on, I just asked a question.
You always ask questions.
I know.
I didn't hear you.
I need to know everything. They will be coming back with the building plan?
Like
Is this just a-
architectural, just
Yes.
for the building, not the site development?
Correct.
There will be plans required for review.
There'll be more steps.
Yes.
Okay, that's all I needed to know. Thank you.
Mr. Harvey?
What's going to be housed in the warehouse?
It's an excavating contractor, so I assume he's gonna house some of his equipment in there and his offices.
It's nice to see business expanding in Monroeville.
That's a good point, Mr. Williams. And I'm sorry, sir, you identify yourself as the engineer.
Sure.
I didn't get your name, I'm sorry.
Edward Patton, Patton Engineering LLC.
Thank you, Edward. If you could just write your name there, and that way we have it for the record. And I'm assuming that the company would actually be doing their own excavating?
Correct.
All right, saving some money. It's good.
Thanks.
Mayor, I see it was approved by the planning commission as well.
Yeah, they recommend approval, correct. So council, what we're considering with this public hearing, this portion of it is just the cut and fill operation. Does anybody have any other questions about the cut and fill operation?
No, sir.
Is there anything you'd like to add? Anything additional, or we pretty much cover it all?
You've covered it all.
Okay, Mr. Wilden, nothing from your office?
Nothing else.
Okay, so I'm gonna close the public hearing, and
Motion?
we have a motion to close it.
Motion. Second.
A second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. And forgive me, was there a motion to approve this item?
No.
No.
Could I?
So motion
I'm
to
gonna-
approve.
I'm gonna seek one right now.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is second to approve. Any other comments or questions about this item? Council?
Zero.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Osinko?
Aye.
Mr. Harvey?
Aye.
Mr. Poach?
Aye.
Mrs. Gatos?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Good luck with
Great.
the project.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming out.
You have one more item, if you want to stay for it.
Our next item is 20-3-C, Coward Church Incorporated. Mr. Little, please.
Yeah, applicant is requesting a conditional use approval to establish a non-denominational Christian church in an existing building pursuant to the Monroeville zoning ordinance number 1443, section 401, table 201C. Permitted uses, conditional uses, yard and area requirements. Property is located at 4041 William Penn Highway in the C2 Business Commercial Zoning District and known as tax parcel 743L367. This is also a public hearing, so anybody that wishes to comment, we would have to open up the public hearing, and you would have to be sworn in.
Is there anyone in
You have to
attendance?
come up again, Bob.
Is there anyone in attendance for
Are
this
you guys here
project?
for the church? You need to come up and get sworn in.
Mr. Wilden, you may as well join us,
Yes.
because they're going to have questions for you.
You know how we are.
I'll give you a second to sign in.
Sorry about that.
No, take your time.
Let me make sure.
Yeah, let's get both names.
Council has a little narrative here about the church at their stations.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Little. Welcome. So please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Very good. So we're going to open up this public hearing item. And if I could just get your names for the record, if you could just state your name for the record.
My name's Nick Miller.
Nick?
Lisa Palmieri.
Lisa. Thank you so much, and we already know Mr. Wilden. Very good. So if you want to start with your presentation?
Yeah, we are starting church. I believe that you guys received an email or a letter perhaps about what we're doing, but we're starting church, and we're in Marysville right now. We're looking to move into Monroeville, our hometown. Been here, born and raised here, and have a passion for Monroeville. And so our community would be excited and thrilled to be a part of this. So I'm looking for, obviously, your guys' approval to do so and move in and begin together.
Excellent.
Where's the specific property you're gonna occupy?
It's the Alfred Angelo building, right by Elmer's Aquarium.
Oh, okay.
But it's the Alfred Angelos. I believe they moved out 2 years ago or so.
Okay.
So it's up on the monitor right now?
Yep.
So it is just the right side of the
The
building?
right side,
The one
yep.
part, the one.
It's right by the entrance of the Johnite Plaza.
Yes.
What about the parking?
Yeah, that was
Oh,
my question.
parking.
That was an initial concern. We had the applicant talk to the property owner, and their hours of operation vary greatly from the rest of the shopping center, so it shouldn't be an issue.
Okay.
They're pretty much only open on Sunday mornings.
What's
and
the
that's
occupancy?
50?
Oh, What was in that building prior to the purchase?
The bridal shop,
Pardon me?
the bridal shop. The,
Thank you. Right beside the John at Plaza. And Mr.
A
Harvey, I'm
free
sorry,
dress
Mr.
every-
Harvey's question was,
What is the occupancy of the church?
Yeah, 50 people and maybe 10 or 15 kids right now. Yeah.
are you the pastor?
Yes.
Very good. So the parking was an issue. Any other issues or concerns from your department?
No, the only reason it's a conditional use in our current ordinance, places of worship have to go through conditional use. So that's really the only reason we're here. There wasn't no red flags popped up. It's just standard procedure.
With a 50-person occupancy, what's the required parking?
I don't know offhand for a church, but it was so many spaces per pews or something. They were well within the requirements.
you're not changing the footprint of the building.
Outside?
You-
No.
Like, I mean, the building, you're just gonna use the structure
We're
as
using-
is, right?
correct.
Just go in and
Change the inside.
clear it out.
Correct.
Make it
Mostly
usable
opening
for
it
a
up.
church.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I figured.
Yes. And I didn't, but yes, just so council is aware and the public as well, the Planning Commission did recommend approval of this item. Council, any other questions regarding the public hearing
No.
portion?
No, sir.
Swear them in yet.
The public needs to know that when the planning commission works on this, they do a lot of legwork and investigate. And when they make a recommendation to approve, it's usually a pretty good recommendation.
Very good. Now, just to the record, Mr. Williams was on the Planning Commission for quite some time, so he's very pro-planning commission.
If you didn't pick up on that.
He's trained them well.
Yeah. However, what he said is not, definitely, not false. They really work very hard. You're absolutely right, Mr. Williams. So, with that, I'm gonna close. Can I get a motion to close
Motion
the
to close.
public hearing?
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. So,
Motion to approve?
we have a motion to approve
Second.
and a second. I just have one. How do you pronounce the church? I'm sorry.
Core Church.
Okay, I had it right.
Yeah, French for heart. Yeah.
Perfect.
Nice.
Yeah.
Great. Any other comments or questions, council?
No, sir.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Roll call, please.
Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Arsenko?
Aye.
Mr. Harvey?
Aye.
Mr. Poach?
Aye.
Mrs. Gatos?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Good luck with your project.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Lisa.
everyone. Thank you.
Welcome to Monroeville again.
Lisa's been part of Monroeville.
I think
Just
so,
a little.
yeah.
Come on. She went to school with me. Us young 40-year-olds, we went to school together.
What?
Just move on.
Let's move on to the
You're hard of hearing.
resolutions, please, council. We have two this evening. Mr. Little, resolutions.
Yeah, first one is a resolution approving split-face masonry block as an approved exterior surface material as provided for in section 209.3 of ordinance 1443 as amended for J. Martin Excavating concerning property located along Old Frankstown Road. J. Martin's getting a lot of playtime tonight.
I'll say.
Council has an illustration
Yeah, where is that?
in their packet under the pink pages of the exterior wall.
there it is.
Wall.
Motion.
Second.
Is a motion to approve?
Yes, sir.
Motion is second to approve. Any comments or questions, council?
Yeah, this approval is just for this one site. This
Correct.
ordinance?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay.
Resolution.
Yeah, the resolution, absolutely. Any other comments or questions, council? We have a motion and a second to approve. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Gatos?
Aye.
Mr. Poach?
Aye.
Mr. Harvey?
Aye.
Mr. Arsenko?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
The ayes have it. We have a second resolution. Mr. Little.
Okay, a resolution under Act 205 of 1984, known as the Municipal Pension Plan Funding Standard Recovery Act, authorizing the 2021 minimum municipal obligation, otherwise known as the MMO, for the police and non-uniform pension plans. And the numbers as the distribution will be at the October meeting, and for the police under MMO is $2,547,632, and the non-uniform is $2,108,445. So that gives the public a little flavor of what we put into pension plans each year.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Any other comments, council? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Arcinigo?
Aye.
Mr. Harvey?
Aye.
Mr. Poach?
Aye.
Mrs. Gatos?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Council, moving over to our ordinances this evening, we have one ordinance that was tabled at the last meeting.
Can I make a motion to untable?
We have a motion to take it off the table
I'll second.
and a second.
Second.
Should we read the ordinance for the benefit of the public?
We will, yeah. Why don't we get the vote first? So we have a motion and a second to take it off the table. This is not a vote for or against the ordinance. All this is doing is just taking it off the table,
And opening it back up.
opening it back up. So you're voting in an affirmative manner would just mean that it's coming off the table to discuss it, or to decide, actually rather to act on it in any way. So roll call, please.
Mrs. Gatos?
Aye.
Mr. Poach?
Aye.
Mr. Harvey?
Aye.
Mr. Arcinigo?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Mr. Ratcher, if you could just read the ordinance for the public.
Will do, Mayor. An ordinance of the Municipality of Monroeville, Allegheny County, Pennsylvania, amending ordinance number 2689 to rescind the pollution control and flood reduction fee discount for certain religious institutions to be effective for the year 2021 and subsequent years.
Council, this ordinance is on the table for consideration. To one of three options, either to approve it, to deny it, or to retable it at this point.
May I make a statement?
We need to get a motion and a second first of some sort. Does anybody, or if well, I guess it is off the table. There has to be an action
Yeah,
right now.
right.
Okay, a motion to approve.
Motion to approve the ordinance. We have a second to approve the ordinance. Now is the time for discussion. You had a question, Mr. Williams?
Yeah, I got a comment. When religious institutions are given tax exempt status, they're to provide services to the community, which many do, and I thank them for that. When they are given a discount on pollution control and flood reduction fee, it puts a burden on the taxpayers of Monroeville. One service nonprofits can provide that helps Monroeville as a whole is to pay their fair share of the pollution control fee. And not only helps Monroeville, but it helps anybody downstream of Monroeville. Now, Monroeville's, it's a federally mandated program, 4% of the country, and we're one of the 4%. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Any other comments or questions, council? Mr. Harvey?
Yes. It's unfortunate what we have to do here in amending this ordinance that was originally passed, attempting to help the chartered religious organizations in Monroeville with a little bit of a break here. But unfortunately, the Gateway School District filed a lawsuit against us, and we only put the discount in the ordinance to help the religious organizations. The change to the ordinance is due to the lawsuit filed by the school district arguing that they should not have to pay this tax. This is not a tax, but a fee. Just like they pay for the municipal water authority for water and the sanitary sewers, this is for the management of the storm water that their paved and impermeable surfaces create and cost the municipality funding to manage under federal guidelines. Their lawsuit contains arguments including the religious discounts. We don't know what that has to do with the fee or what they're arguing or claiming is a tax. However, Mr. Ratcher asked them to remove the religious organization discount from the lawsuit, and the Gateway School District declined to do that.
Any other comments, council, or questions?
No, I think Mr. Harvey stated that very well, so that leaves our hands tied as we try to work with the school district on this, and they didn't want to work with us, so we don't have a choice. And I'm sorry to the religious institutions.
And I'd like to echo with what Mr. Harvey and Mrs. Gatos said, but the sad reality is the other reason we gave the discount had to do with some of the churches are very small and their budgets are extremely tight. it was a great idea, and I want to thank everybody on council personally for passing this originally, and again, I think that everybody's saying it's kind of sad we have to rescind it, so. Too bad for Gateway that they did that. I just don't get that. I'm very disappointed in them.
I'd like to comment, please.
Mr. Wilson.
Yes. With the school district that has 19-plus mills for, to achieve their budget to bring in revenue, and for them to go after these churches in the area, that it's like Mr. Williams said, that there has been in the past discounts offered to religious organizations. With the school district turning around and suing the municipality, is a disaster for the school district. It just says that they don't have any idea how these churches work. The revenue from these churches is only through donation and other sources. However, in the long run, this is a terrible, terrible lawsuit against the municipality, because the municipality wants to give a flood reduction fee to the religious institutions for the year of 2021 and down the road. So my feeling is that the school district is way out of line here, and it's time to get your ducks in order and pay attention to what's going on in the community and stop raising your millage. Thank you.
Just, Mr. Mayor, may I? Just a real quick comment. I believe the current millage rate is about 21 mills, not 19. And if you look at their budget, they have rough, I'm using round numbers, about 76 million versus about 35 million for the municipality. So, and being a former school director, their enrollment when I was on is down, and that was many years ago, of course, but it's down another 1,200 to 1,500 from when we were on, Mr. Wilson and I. So, don't know why they did that, and again, and I don't want to sound like a broken record, but very disappointed with the school district, and I'll leave it at that. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Greg, when we were on, our budget was $62 million. I can't remember what the millage was, but they have lost attendance and students.
About 1,500.
Yeah, well, they're down, I think, to 2,500 students. And they keep raising their millage. I can't figure out why.
Well,
It's time you look at how you spend your money, school district.
Well, council, let's consider what the ordinance at hand is currently. We have a motion and a second to approve this.
Question.
We have a motion and a second to approve the ordinance. We have one more comment about this, Mr. Poach.
Yes, so essentially, voting against this ordinance then backs us in the corner and hurts the religious organizations in town. Is that am I reading the correct definition?
No, you're turn it around.
Okay, vote for it. A vote in
If
the
you,
positive
if you
form.
vote for it, it eliminates the discount that the religious institutions are getting. But it does improve our position in our lawsuit with Gateway, who's trying to get out of paying about $90,000 in flood reduction fees per year.
Okay, thank you for the clarification.
Council, there's a motion and a second to approve this ordinance. Roll call, please.
Mr. Wilson?
No.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Arsenko?
No.
Mr. Harvey?
Aye.
Mr. Poach?
Aye.
Mrs. Gatos?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Moving over to our reports of municipal staff. Mr. Ratcher, any comments this evening?
I have no comments unless anybody has a question for me.
Doesn't look like it. Mr. Little.
Okay, I have a few items. I'll I'll try to be as brief as possible. The first item is, for the last 4 months, I have given council a year-to-date revenue review on specific revenue items due to the pandemic and the possible loss of revenue with every city, municipality, and county across the country. Council has a bar chart, and they also have a spreadsheet of, and I'll briefly go through those items that are on here. Building permits for 2020 are a little bit down. They are down, and that's to be understandable, because back in March and April, nobody was doing anything with respect to building. One surprise on here is the regional RAD. The regional asset tax is actually up, and which was expected to be down, so it's up a little bit. It's not up a lot. Real estate transfer tax is holding its own. It was higher, relatively speaking, as compared to the previous 3 years, but it's still holding its own. As everybody knows, or most people know, houses are selling across the country because interest rates are so low. The EIT, which was one that I wanted to be looking at very closely here, moving along, is holding its own, relatively speaking. We're down a little bit from last year. We're doing basically the same as we did in 2018, which is good. But as we move along here, as I've repeatedly said to council, we'll keep an eye on all of these. Local services tax is a little bit down, but it's holding its own. Current business privilege tax, surprisingly, as I reported last month, the current business privilege tax and the mercantile tax for this year has kind of held its own. It's down more than in previous years, but we kind of thought, or I did, that it may be down a lot, because even though their tax is based on their revenues from the previous year, I kind of thought maybe it would be more people did not pay it or could not pay it, but it seems like it's not down as much. And the real estate tax is basically the same as it has been in recent years. So although we are down in total revenue, we're not down as much as I think all of us had anticipated. And each month, as we move along, even through next year into 2021, I'm going to be doing the same and picking out these specific revenue items and alerting council and the public as to where we are with respect to revenue, because we've put somewhat of a moratorium on capital improvement, except for the roads. As I mentioned tonight, we're spending money on roads because we have to do that. I've met with all the department heads on moving into 2021, and that'll be brought up at budget hearings in the latter part of October, beginning then. If not, if council has any questions on the year-to-date revenue.
Mr. Little, how far down did you say we were? I'm sorry.
How far?
Like, how short?
Approximately, I don't have that, you have that, I believe, in your,
I have this paper, but
I have it on my, yeah, I have the revenue chart. We're down approximately $900,000, but that seems like a lot of money, and it is. I'm not saying it isn't, but that is, you have to understand that's commensurate with other years. We're down $900,000, but that's not as alarming as I thought it would be. So that's the
Does that
absolute.
take into play the fact that we didn't do a few of the hires or replacement in the employment?
We're just talking revenue here.
We're just talking revenue?
We're just talking
Okay.
revenue, that's all we're talking. We're not talking expenses, just talking revenue.
So, but we have made some adjustments to our expenditures as well, right, to cover, that could cover part of this?
Correct. Now, the key thing to remember here, which is not on this chart, in the past 3-4 years, the tax office has done extremely well on collecting delinquent and business and mercantile tax. Those two items are significantly down this year. We're down 23% as opposed to last year, and we're also down 48% as opposed to last year on the delinquent business and mercantile tax respectively. So that is significant, and we're also down on the LST, but the LST, we don't take, relatively speaking, We only have budgeted for that about $10,000. And those are the significant reductions that we've had, that we have been blessed, is a word to use, on collecting a lot in delinquent mercantile and business privilege tax, which is a large part to giving us a decent fund balance that moving forward, we can weather the storm here, maybe a little better than other municipalities, but that remains to be totally seen.
Tim, question on this part too. So we're looking at a 5% then reduction according to that piece of, roughly? Just circle there in red. Am I reading that?
Correct. That is
Okay.
correct. That
That's
is correct.
So we're about 5%
Yeah,
behind what
that
you would
is
expect
correct.
revenue
Yeah.
this time of year. Okay, thank you.
Any other
Counselor?
questions?
Very good. Any other questions, council? Thank you, Tim. Your next
Okay,
item.
yeah, next item has been discussed for months now, and council can make a decision on what to do with the municipal building foyer decorative arch right out there in the hallway. We can, and I gave council a review here by Mr. Hugus on what it is going to cost in order to remove it, or what we can do, as one of our public works employee knows, those panels at the top pop off, and they can be popped off and they can be cleaned. But if we do that, we still need, obviously, public works employees to do that, and that would have to be done on the weekend while nobody is using the municipal building here, because what we have to do is we have to bring in a rental, a scissor high lift, and put plywood down outside there in the foyer so it doesn't crack the towel out there, and bring that in, and we can either remove the whole arch or we can have it cleaned. And approximate cost of about $44,450. And if we just have it cleaned, it'll be reduced by about $950 for the paint supplies, basically for, I take that back, the paint supplies, that's for painting that one area out there, that's not for removing the tile.
That's just removing if you remove the arch, you're gonna have to repaint.
Okay, but that's including the tile, or the ceiling tile?
Correct.
Okay, all right, so you'd save about $950 if you did that.
Mr. Little, may I?
Yes.
I would like to see it removed, for the simple fact is that we're all worried about the COVID-19. All that is a dust collector. God knows when I don't even know if that's been cleaned in 20 years, to be very frank with you. I would think it would be just wise. You have beautiful skylights up there. It would brighten up the area out there, and just get rid of the damn thing. Talk to your staff. They don't want it either.
Is there a way to?
Talk about the staff that works here.
Is there a way to clean it from the I guess maybe, Mr. Little?
Yeah, I mean.
Is there a way to clean it from the second floor without a scissor lift? Is there any way to reach it?
No, you need a scissors lift.
But it's not structurally, there's not a structural issue with it, it's not a safety issue?
No.
Talk to your staff that works here, not us. We don't work here every day like they do 8 hours a day.
Is council familiar with the item that we're talking about?
Yeah, I've been coming to the municipal building since it's been built. And honestly, I never even noticed it until Mr. Little walked me out of his office. Oh, it's right there. I never even noticed it there, so.
I haven't noticed it
I would-
yet.
Huh?
I haven't noticed it yet. No
Yeah,
one walked
so-
me
so
out
I
there.
would say, 9 out of 10 people come in this building and never even see it. I'd say clean it up and leave it there.
You can remove it.
Does anybody else ever see it?
What's the difference in the cost, Tim, of cleaning it as compared
I
to?
think Greg wants to volunteer to help clean it.
Oh, I don't think so.
Tim, are we only gonna save $900 if we just clean it instead of remove it? That's it?
Because you still have to get the scissors. And the biggest cost is the public works overtime for the public works employees. That's their biggest cost. So, I mean, because,
Why can't they do that during normal hours?
well,
It'd be a real
it's-
safety problem.
I don't want to see it.
yeah, you're gonna,
Yeah, you
They
can't.
couldn't come in
No,
the back
no,
doors
no,
or
no,
anything?
no, no.
There's no other way to like,
Exit problem.
well, I mean, you could. I'm not saying you can't. but it would be better to do it on a weekend. It would be.
Would they get it done in one weekend?
Yeah,
Oh,
I believe
yeah,
it.
I would
Yeah,
say
think-
yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why do we make things so tough?
I think they could.
Okay.
Either clean it or take it down, either one, I think it'd be done.
So the
in a day.
advantage is to, it adds a little more light, and a little more open to the inside, if it's removed.
I don't, I'm not gonna say one way or the other, I don't know. I don't know.
I agree.
Didn't you go to,
Well, it's too
didn't
dark
you
to
take a
know.
minor
I have the
architecture?
flashlight in my purse. Let's all go look.
Does council need time to look at,
Absolutely.
How will the removal improve the entrance?
Talking about.
You have the
It's just an aesthetic thing for you to decide. You get elected to make these kind of decisions.
Well,
These important decisions. We've spent more time on this than we do
thanks
on
for
other.
throwing me under the bus.
Can we vote on this next month and you can show me when we
That's
leave?
sure,
I don't
that's
know
up
even
to
know
you,
what-
whatever you
I don't
wanna
know what
do.
we're even talking about.
So does David-
Let's
I'm gonna
make, how
abstain
about we
if
make a motion
necessary.
to table it until.
You don't have to do anything. You don't have to do anything. It's just, okay, look at it and
Yeah.
I'll
Talk
have it
about it
on the
next
agenda
month.
next
We'll
month.
talk about it next
Under my
month.
report next.
put in your report for next month, please, Mr. Little.
Okay,
We'll,
as.
way too much time
On the
dedicated
next
to-
item, as Miss Debbie Izok, the former president of the library, mentioned that there will be, if it's up, if council says okay, for the use of the municipal parking lot for the Shabbat of Monroeville Mass Distribution Partnership on September 13th, this Sunday, to be handing out masks, 5 per person.
So moved.
And
Second.
Absolutely.
council is okay with that then?
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Opposed?
Aye.
All right,
good.
number 4, at next
The
month's
manager.
council meeting, the 2021 budget presentation will be presented. Obviously, it's a presentation, and I'll spend about 5 minutes on that. We've met with all the department heads. They have their numbers in, I would imagine. And then we'll be starting to dissect all the numbers that are in and looking at what the revenue is, and then present that to you next month. And the last one is the Monroeville Foundation Golf Outing is next Monday at Meadowwink Golf Course in Murraysville. And that concludes my report, unless anybody has any other questions.
Nope.
Thank you, Mr. Little.
Okay.
Mr. Hugus, the item up here is an update for the revised zoning ordinance. I'm not sure if that's with you or Mr. Wielden.
Mr. Wilton.
Mr. Wielden,
It's good.
floor is yours.
It's good to be the king, huh?
All the first.
I was thinking that.
I'm still thinking about the
Already figured that.
the arch and the.
Yeah, me too.
lobby.
Get rid of it.
Mr. Wielden,
Forget
thank
my
you
mind.
again.
Well, I don't have an exciting video like TV 15 does, so we'll just plod along here. A few months ago, I finally started working in earnest at the new zoning ordinance. People prior to me have started it, and it's been floundering for a long time, so hopefully we can get it across the finish line here in the next year. I handed out a tentative schedule. This is how I plan things to go. I know it's probably not going to follow that exactly. What I've started with is people before me had piles and piles of notes. So I took all the notes, I compiled it into one document so far, and it's really big. It's really disjointed right now, just because it's a compilation of like a dozen different people's thoughts and ideas. So I've been slowly going through it, formatting it, trying to narrow it down, add things in that I've noticed that our current ordinance is missing. I've worked with Mr. Hugus and Mr. Ratcher, Mr. Little. We've had some informal meetings over it, and we have a direction where we want to go. Some of the sections that we don't have is mixed use. I know that's a big thing coming up, especially with the way the mall's going. So we're going to have a whole section in the ordinance for mixed use. And then there's some other more current items that our current ordinance doesn't have. So it's a work in progress. I plan to work on it even more, and then I'll present it to Planning Commission. We'll let Planning Commission look at it for a month. I'll take those comments, add them in, maybe have some more discussions with in-house staff and employees. We'll go back to Planning Commission again, have some public meetings. We'll get some public input. I'll digest all that information, put it into the document, and then we'll start working with council, and it eventually goes to the county for review. So it's a long process. You know, I'm thinking, you know, sometime early next year, it may be completed. Might be the middle of next year, but at least we're working on it.
Sounds like a good timeline. Thank you for
Very good.
your work.
Thank you, Mr. Wielden.
Answer me a question. Is it possible to do part of it at a time and present it to planning commission and county and council, such as the mixed use? That's important. With our businesses floundering, our mall floundering, if we could get that moved ahead and just take out one section at a time and get something passed there.
If there was something more imminent, I would think about that a little bit more, but we sort of know it's coming. It isn't exactly here yet, so I don't think we need to rush anything to, you know, and possibly get something wrong. I'd rather work on the document in its entirety, because it has to go to the county for review, and I don't want to send it to them piecemeal. I'd rather have them one document, one set of comments, and we can work on everything at one time instead of little pieces here and there.
Yeah, if you're sending it to the county piece, I mean, that would be a challenge.
I may not even take it piecemeal.
It'd be a concern, yeah, certainly. It's a good idea.
Thank you.
Oh, you're working with Mr. Ratcher on this too?
Yeah.
Yes.
Any other questions for Mr. Wielden?
Nope, thank you.
Paul, thanks for the update. Mr. Hugus, do you have anything else to add?
I do not.
Thank you.
On.
And I will open the floor up for public comment on any municipal item. If there's anyone who would like to comment about anything in the municipality, now would be your chance to do it. We're going to close that portion, and we're going to move over to our reports of our council members. Mrs. Gatos, I'll start with you this evening.
Okay, first I would like to thank Senator Jim Brewster and Representative Brandon Markosik for grant monies that were received at the municipal authority to upgrade the sewer, some of the sewers, problem areas in the Woodhaven road that flooded last year. So a big thanks to those gentlemen for helping Monroeville out. They really stand up for us, and a big shout out to them. Next, I hope that everyone enjoyed the fireworks on Sunday. There was a lot of, discussion. We were happy to finally be able to give something to the community since all the parades had been canceled. So, thanks to Sean Logan and Mr. Jim Johns for his work with that. Also to the Monroeville Mall for allowing us to do it, and to the fire departments and the EMS that were on hand in case there was any issues. I want to say thank you to them. I also want to wish my son and daughter-in-law happy wedding anniversary on the 21st of this month. And my condolences to the Lynch family. My father served on council with Mr. Lynch. He was also very instrumental. He was the founder of Safety Town. Anyone had little kids that got to go there, which I did. That was really a wonderful thing. And I talked to his son from his passing, and as he said, I see you followed in your father's footsteps. So I'm very proud of that myself. But Mr. Lynch was a great guy, and in 1989, if anyone didn't know, that he had received the Citizen of the Year award from Monroeville. So great accomplishment. Did a lot for this community, and a really stand-up guy. And I'd like to personally thank him, his family, for what he did for us, and send my condolences out during this difficult time. And with that, that's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Poach.
Keeping it short again this evening. Also, my sympathies to the Lynch family. I work with Mike as well, his son, to do that. Quite frequently, I see him at work as well, and he did stop down to mention that to him about his father passing, because he remembers actually a photo with Mr. Harvey and I in it from many, many years ago. He said, last few years. So that was we started to hear that about the former mayor to do that. We're getting through tough times, folks, making a lot more progress than we anticipated. Thankfully, we're here this evening at the same time, keeping our social distance as well, but still moving forward. Right now, just have to be taking a little bit of a deep breath and hope that it moves forward, with progress. I can tell you this, there's a very strong encouragement to everyone in the community to be able to get your flu vaccines earlier, for those of you who get them. Probably a month earlier than Yeah, a month earlier than most folks have in the past has always been a real positive thing to help us differentiate if there's any forthcoming problems with that. And hopefully we'll be able to continue meeting together in person. I certainly hope so. But we'll keep an eye on how those numbers and things work as well, and as they move forward in the next couple of months too. So, and belated birthday to Mrs. Gatos. She thought she was going to get away with that one too.
I'm skipping this year.
Yeah, oh, you're skipping
Due
this
to the
one.
COVID.
Mm-hmm, yeah. That'll be all, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Poach. Mr. Harvey?
Yes, sir. Since I'm on a roll on getting on the Gateway School District case, I might as well continue. And I got told this by Sean Logan today. So to add to the things, a gentleman that has recently purchased the Racket Club to turn it back into a prosperous, tax-paying business,
Yay.
which will attract all types of businesses and customers to Monroeville, asked for the taxing bodies to allow him to pay for the back taxes over time, was denied by the school district. Monroeville allowed it, the county allowed it, the municipal authority allowed it,
Yes.
and the Gateway School District did not allow it. So the gentleman's gonna have to pay for the back school taxes all at once. All the while, the current building is sitting there unoccupied, doing nothing and becoming an eyesore. So here comes an investor who already has a business in Monroeville, and he's going to try to turn that back into a prosperous place that will attract people to Monroeville again. Sean Logan told me they had so many events there that once again filled the hotels. And the guy was not asking for a break on the taxes. He was asking to allow him to pay them over time while keeping up with the current taxes.
And it was only for 1 year.
1 year.
He would do it in 1 year.
Yep. And they denied him. So I thought that was pretty sad because the Gateway School District so helps our community.
Ron, excuse me, can I comment on that just for a second?
Sure.
It just goes to show me that the people at Gateway don't have a business sense. They don't understand the opportunity we have here to put a business back on the tax roll.
And a big one. I think the gentleman is going to end up sinking a great deal of money into it. I think the purchase price was $3 million, not counting what he's going to put into it to fix it up. And he was just asking for a little relief. So much for that. I wanted to compliment also, as Ms. Gatos did, I want to compliment and thank Jim Johns for the fantastic work he did with the fireworks display on Sunday. Great job. I also want to thank the Monroeville Mall for allowing us to use their property again to have those fireworks, because without them it would have been a little tough. For those of you that don't know, the Monroeville Visitors Convention Bureau / Visit Monroeville had just had an audit and passed with no comments from the auditors, meaning the books were in perfect perfect order and clean. I wanted to congratulate Sean Logan for doing such a good job on that. Also, thanking Mr. Brewster and Representative Markozic for the grant money to help our residents in Garden City and Lower Woodhaven. And last but not least, Tim, is there going to be a capital budget?
No, not per se, no. We have everything held off on that. We're just doing the regular budget, and we're gonna get cranked back up again. We were supposed to have capital budget hearings, as council knows, starting in April, and then the pandemic hit, and all of that was put on hold. And
Oh, understandable. I was just
yeah,
asking.
everything was put on hold as far as that's concerned.
I am done, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Harvey. Mr. Arsenko?
Yeah, I have a few items I'd like to talk about. First off, as everybody knows, the club's in my ward, and it's been deteriorating for quite some time, and I would just like to thank Craig Koza and whoever other his investors are for even doing that. And I'm going to echo a little bit what Ron had to say about the Gateway School District. very sad that they're not working with our businesses. Again, just plainly disappointed. To the Lynch family, condolences, heartfelt as it is, and I do agree with switching gears. Jimmy Johns and the committee did a great job on putting that together, and I do want to thank them all as well for the great fireworks display. To Jared and JB, wow, what a difference. That's a hell of a lot of good programming, so hopefully everybody will enjoy that as well. Senator Brewster, Representative Markozik, we can't ask for any better representatives at our state legislature than these two gentlemen, so thank you for what you do for us. Thank you for the grant coming in. I have a couple of items from the state and the county, only real brief I'll be. As you well know, the governor, as well as some of the legislatures, pushing recreational marijuana. And this is just strictly my opinion. I am not in favor of it. Many of the elected officials that I've talked to, it's a mixed bag, if you will. I do realize it'll be a $400 or $500 million revenue, but at what cost in long-term health care will that be? There's enough information out there that long-term recreational marijuana use is not good for the human body. Next, I want to talk about voting. As you well know, it's been a lot on the news on that issue of do you go to the polls, do you send mail-ins? What I would just like to suggest to anybody is that if you're healthy reasonably, put a mask on, social distance, go to the poll. A lot of people pay a price so we can do that. And if you have health issues, certainly either do the absentee or the mail-in. But please, if you're able to go to the polls, please do. And I know that's not some of the narrative that's coming around as you see on TV, but call me old-fashioned. The only way I won't go to the polls if I'm on life support in a hospital. I'm going to the polls, period.
We don't say that. Don't say that.
Well, sorry, that's just how much I feel about that. The Citizens Review Board, that's being also considered by county council as well as the state legislature. You know, county council, just even for the Citizens Review Board, the cost is to be about $700,000 to $900,000 for that Citizens Review Board. As you well know, I was one of the ones that went down and testified and was against that. For the simple fact is, take that money and give it to the police departments, or the boroughs rather. They can't afford to train their people. Use that money to make them, their officers, better. But think about this also. If an officer steps out of line, you have the chief of police that can review it. You have the mayor and a council. You also have your district attorney. You have the state attorney general. You have the federal government. You also have the court system. How much more do we want to put on our police? I just want to say this, and I'll wrap it up with this. I just want to thank everybody on council for supporting our police. And I also want to thank everybody, and we all made a statement that we will never defund our police here in Monroeville.
Right.
Thank you for all of that, and that's sincere as I can be, and thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Williams.
First, I would like to give my condolences to the Mike Lynch family. Thank you for sharing Mike with Monroeville and for his many years of service. May God bless you in the days to come, that things would get softer as life goes on. I want to thank Brandon Markosik and Jim Brewster for all they do for Monroeville. I want to thank you for that. If there's anything we can do to help you, please let us know. I had a call from a resident on blighted and abandoned buildings. We do have an ordinance number 2702, an ordinance of Municipality of Monroeville regulating vacant and abandoned property, which addresses deterioration and blight in the municipality and requires the implementation of registration, maintenance, and security measure. I talked to Mr. Hugas about one or two of them, and he assured me that it's gonna be removed in some time to come. But we need to be vigilant on these properties, and my problem with government is sometimes we move so slow. And my idea is just get it done, and it's not always possible to do it tomorrow. I want to thank the 4th of July committee for working on the fireworks display Sunday evening. Great job. They were wonderful. The first responders, I guess we had a dozen fire trucks and police cars and people down there to make things were safe, and I want to thank them for that. And that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Mr. Wilson.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I'd like to remind everybody to please wear your mask when you're out in stores and socializing. Condolences to Mike Lynch's family. I had the pleasure to work with Mike years ago when he was mayor, and I was on the cable TV commission, and this is probably right at the beginning. I can't remember the dates. And I also had the pleasure to meet his daughter, Kelly. And I was on the Miss Monroeville committee to choose a Miss Monroeville. And Kelly came in and gave us one of the most moving essays that I thought was, in my opinion, for me, it was the best I've ever heard. So then Kelly was crowned the queen. Thank you, Brandon Markozik and Jim Brewster. That $1.3 million project is very, very important to those areas. And thank you to the library and to Nicole and all her staff. You guys are just amazing. Just keep moving forward. The Rotary, thank you for the offer to put in a peace memorial. JJ and the Fireworks Committee, Parks and Rec, the mall, and our police and fire, thank you all. You always do a great job, and we really appreciate it as a community. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Mr. Little, you had a...
One other item that I failed to mention in my report was that there was an article in the Times Express where Mr. Carr, the reporter, reported on the Logan's Ferry flooding that we had down there more severely last year. And in there, I stated that we have applied for a DEP permit for 3 retention ponds that would be going on our property above the development, coming down, the water coming down on there. I also stated in that article that that stream below them has been cleaned out and has seemed to alleviate a large part of the problem. I just want to clarify, that was my mistake. We have not applied for the DE permit yet. We discussed it at the beginning of this year, and then the pandemic hit. I thought we applied for it. That was my mistake. We did not apply for it. I'm not saying we're not going to apply for it, but we haven't yet. I just wanted to clarify that, okay? Just for the public.
Mr. Mayor.
Very good.
One other item. We forgot to mention that why Mr. Wolfram is not here. He was involved in an auto accident earlier today.
Oh, no.
And I just received this text that he's headed to the hospital, so just keep him in your prayers. Hopefully he's okay, so that's why he's not here for the public's
Thank you for updating us.
information.
We wish him the best.
Yes, we do.
With that, we'll,
I have a
I
quick
wanna go on with
question, Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry. I thought we were going to discuss the fact that the senior center was opening on Thursday. Mr. Little?
Well, I mean, we can, it's at the pleasure of council as far as possibly opening up the Senior Citizen Center a little bit earlier than anticipated. We're on the cusp here of hiring a new fitness coordinator.
That ought to make everyone happy.
And we had our fitness coordinator resign abruptly on August the 6th. So that put a delay into opening up the Senior Citizen Center as we can under the CDC guidelines, the Department of Aging, and also the Allegheny County Department of Aging. And we're going to be looking at if we can open it up under certain guidelines, quite possibly this Thursday.
Well, they currently are open.
Well, we are open and doing online classes.
They're open physically for people currently.
And
Well, we need to bring that up because most of the residents don't realize that the senior center is open now. So that and, like Debbie has mentioned about the staff calling the members. Well, the senior center did that as well, and I think that needs to be acknowledged also, that they called a lot of the members to make sure they were okay.
They did. It was a
And-
trying time.
Right, and it was, and they did a fantastic job with that, and I think a lot of people are looking forward to knowing that it's open. So I just want everyone to know that, things are kind of starting to get back to a little bit of normal. And that's another place that our residents enjoy. So I'm glad that that shows a step forward.
Okay.
Yep, so currently the senior center is open 9 to 1 for senior services, and they're also doing a tremendous amount of online classes. They're following all the guidelines by the CDC, the Department of Aging, the Department of Health. There are a lot of restrictions in place, but they are offering as many or more services than all the other county facilities are, which aren't
Why only
currently
till
open.
1 o'clock, Mayor, I'm sorry? I thought we were gonna open full-time.
I'm saying they're currently open.
Yeah, but they're gonna be full-time open as of Thursday?
Well, what I would like to do is talk to the director
Okay.
first.
I don't
is
wanna
what I'd
make a
like to do.
mistake of
Yeah,
what's
I want to
going
talk to
on.
the director on what we can do, what that means opening full-time. What can we offer and what services there are to be offered. So the senior citizen director and the assistant, they don't get calls and people coming down there expecting the senior citizen center to be open like it has been normally. I can say right now, very comfortably, there will be no lunches, there will be no gatherings, there will be nothing that everybody is used to at this point, where you have a gathering of people, and a gathering of people could mean many things. It could mean 25 people in an area of 5,000 square feet, or it could mean 5 people riding in a car. So it depends on the number of people and it depends on the space. So all of the activities that can be done, we're definitely going to look to get the Senior Citizen Center moving, that we can have people actually doing activities, not just up at the park, but in the building itself.
Yeah, I think one of the benefits too, I think what everybody's learning through COVID, and I think that's not necessarily with the senior center, even with the library, and probably with business in general, we found out that there's a lot of things that can be offered online, a lot of resources online, whether it's Zoom meetings. We conducted all of our meetings for several months in that fashion. There's a lot of employers that are offering, there are people working from home. And in this case, with the senior center, they are offering online services. They're starting to reach a larger population. So the good news is, once they do, hopefully, get back to everything they used to be before the pandemic, they will also have the online services in place. So therefore, you can actually capture more people. So now you have someone maybe who can't get a ride that day, maybe someone that's homebound, or someone maybe if they're not feeling well or bad weather, they can still participate in these programs. So there's some positive things that are coming about the challenges that they have right now. But the Senior Center, most of the information, all the information can be found on their Facebook page, and certainly by calling the center, Tara or Carol can get you signed up and lined up with what you need to do to participate in those programs. And it's one step at a time, as with everything is in the community. So we look forward to their opening. And I'll finish up with my comments. I just want to once again stress my condolences to the Mike Lynch family on his passing. He will certainly be missed. I want to thank, as many of my colleagues did, about the fireworks program, Sean Logan with Visit Monroeville, the committee, the fireworks committee, Mr. Johns, the chairperson of that committee as well, the Monroeville Mall, and our first responders for that event. It was a great, got a lot of good feedback about the fireworks display. It was an excellent display. We wish we could do more as far as parades, but we will look to next year for those items. Cleanup day, we had our annual cleanup day, and considering the pandemic and not having a picnic as they normally do, we had over 200 volunteers, which was an excellent showing for, there were some concerns at first by Mr. Sedlak. Joe's not here this evening, but, Joe does a tremendous job of organizing this event every year and getting a lot of donations for prizes. And, a lot of people showed up for that event. I know Mr. Williams was there with his tongs. He brought a special tool. I'm never going to have hot dogs at his house ever. Hopefully they're just for garbage picking up. But at any rate.
Yeah, I caught him out there.
Yeah. Mr. Williams, thanks for coming out.
Stuff up with his tongs.
But great turnout for cleanup day.
He was sneaking through the cemetery when I caught him.
But to Joe Sedlak for all he's done, and his brother Jay, who's here behind one of the cameras. I don't know if we can get a camera on Jay. It might be too late for that. But Jay's here. But Jay, thanks for all you do. Jay had a huge group, as he always does, down on Old William Penn Highway. They pull out a lot of garbage from that area, and it's really sad whenever you see how much garbage they do pull out. But a lot of organizations came out, Boy Scouts, the robotics team. There was a lot of people, so thanks to everyone that participated in that event. There's Jay.
There he
Very
is.
good. All right. Thanks, Jay. And then, once again, yeah, thanks to Senator Brewster and Representative Markozik for all they do, and certainly with these grants, they are very helpful. And there are things that I work with both of their offices very frequently for things. They do a lot of heavy lifting for the community behind the scenes, and but we thank both of them for all that they do for Monroeville. And with that, I'll seek a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
This meeting is adjourned.